What is your reaction or facial expression when you know you made some heat?
Oh shit! Let's go! Let's go!
Hey everyone, welcome to the Sonically podcast where music creators educate music creators. I'm Elmo. In today's episode, we are honored to host the groundbreaking rap group Snotty Nose Rez Kids. Hailing from the Haisla Nation in Kitimat, BC, Yung D and Young Trybez have created a powerful voice in hip-hop, using their music to highlight Indigenous culture, issues, and identity. Since forming in 2016, Snotty Nose Rez Kids have released a series of impactful projects, earning them numerous awards and nominations, including multiple JUNO Award nods. They have a new single and video out today called No Dogs Allowed from their highly anticipated sixth studio album, Red Future, set to be released on September 13th and will be on tour all over the US and Canada till the end of the year. In today's conversation, we'll explore the duo's creative process, the inspirations behind their powerful lyrics, and the stories that have shaped their music. So without further ado, let's welcome the incredibly talented Snotty Nose Rez Kids to the show. What's up, guys?
Give me the kills, bro. An introduction.
Yeah, we really on album number 6. That's crazy.
Yeah, I know.
That's crazy.
Time flies, man. Time flies.
Time flies, man. Like, especially when you're always like in work mode, in go mode. Time flies, man. It's crazy.
Yeah, and you guys are having fun doing it. I think that's kind of like the whole thing. When you're having fun, time flies even faster, right?
Exactly. Yeah, when you do what you love, especially.
So I just want to get into it right off the jump, and rewind back to the beginning. Did you guys grow up with music in your life?
I'd say so, yeah. We both come from very musical families. Like a lot of our grandparents and great grandparents, a lot of them played in like brass bands growing up. Like, not even to mention just like all culture and like our nation that we grew up with. So like music and song and dance is like not only therapeutic for us, but it's who we are. We eventually just found our own lane and our way to show our love and appreciation for music,
Yeah, and on top of that, like as far as rap goes, we just grew up on the res where rap was like almost like almost like therapeutic to us. Like we were all in the gym playing basketball, and rap was always playing. But yeah, like I said, like our parents had music playing in our households growing up, like 24/7. So
what were some of the names of the artists or some of the sonic environments that were happening in terms of like the records that were playing in the house from your parents?
Yeah.
And then sort of like on the other hand of like the stuff that you guys like to listen to, what were some of those sonics happening?
I mean, in my household, there was a lot of Queen playing. I know that. A lot of Queen, a lot of Tina Turner, and for my mom, it was just like strictly Elvis. There's something about Elvis on the Reds that the aunties love. You know what I mean? Yeah, I guess you had to grow up in that time to really appreciate it. But yeah, that was always going on for us. And then I grew up around like a lot of older cousins and stuff who were essentially brothers. They grew up in the same house as me, so they were huge metalheads. So like Iron Maiden, Black Sabbath, like all the major metal bands for me was kind of like what shaped me, shaped my taste in music, I guess you could say. And then like growing up, I really like started to fall in love with rap when I started hanging out with people outside of my family, like on the res. Like Tupac and Biggie was always playing in the background. And then as we got older, Lil Wayne. So Lil Wayne's like my goat.
Yeah. We just grew up with like almost like an encyclopedia of music, depending on which family member or which whoever we hung out with introduced us to like a different taste. You know what I mean? From metal to Queen to alternative rock to hip hop, you know what I mean? Like you name it, we were raised around it. You know what I mean?
So the spectrum is pretty wide.
Mm-hmm.
Along that journey of listening and absorbing and being inspired by these works of legends from the past, at what point did you discover the process of creating music and realizing that you could do it too?
I mean, we're both pretty young when we started writing. Like, I started off with poetry when I was like grade 6, around there, and that just kind of snowballed effect into, writing a 16 and then writing a verse. Like, I remember in my very early days, I would try fit like one song on like one sheet of loose leaf, like front and back. You know what I mean? And then it just escalated from there, and we just genuinely like fell in love with it at first. It was never like, oh yeah, we're gonna do this and like we're gonna blow up and be famous. It's no, we did it because we loved it. It was a place of like refuge for us because growing up in a small town, especially on the res, more often than not, we were looked at as like outcasts. You know what I mean? And less than. So hip hop definitely like helped us find our place and made us feel good about who we are.
And growing up in the res too, everybody wanted to be a rapper. Everybody wanted to be in a band. So bands were forming. People were doing freestyle sessions, and people just acted like life was 8 Mile. You know what I mean? And so, like, we easily fell into that same groove. We were doing freestyles with bands and just trying to get good at rapping. I guess you could say.
Do you guys have any first rap quotables that you remember?
Oh, man, I wish we had our very first record that we ever recorded. It was like in my bedroom. I was like grade 7 at the time, I think. And it was like on like those skinny Bob Barker looking mics, like for the computer mics that they had back in the
Yeah.
day. So yeah, we did it on like the sound recorder on like a PC and just put the stereos together and just like we would hop in and out of the seat. There was like a gang of us back in the day, but I wish I still had those.
Well, do you have bars? You remember any bars?
Uh I remember the song was called "You Ain't Ballin'." It's
Uh,
actually really funny because it was like,
Spit the bars though.
yeah, I wish I could remember,
Oh, you don't
but
remember?
quotable bars, man. Damn.
After that discovery process of creating music, you guys have come a long way on your journey to now having a drop on a major record company, touring all over the world essentially. What were some of the hardest moments along the journey to becoming renowned songwriter artists, and how did you overcome these hardships?
Honestly, it's just like pushing through the struggle, and to kind of circle back, coming from a small town, nobody's ever really done anything of this magnitude in something like this. So it's a lot of, why are you trying to do music? Why don't you go get a trade? Like, um, I was actually really thinking about this a lot lately, and like, I'm glad that we went through the struggles that we did. You know what I mean? Like, I'm glad that the countless nights I slept on Tribe's couch, you know what I mean? Or a mattress on his floor in the studio, you know what I mean? Because that built our character. And honestly, it's just our faith in ourselves and our faith in each other what really kept us going. It's like one more song, one more project, one more song, one more project. We're going to get it on this next one. We're going to get it on this next one because we truly believe you only lose when you quit, and we just refuse to quit. And, you know, being able to manifest the career that we have right now is it's pretty special when you think about it. But um, yeah, a lot of people don't want to go through the struggle, and unfortunately, it's just a part of life. You know what I mean? And whatever it is that you decide to do, whether it's going to get a college degree, university, start your own business, be an entrepreneur, like you're gonna eat shit for a couple years, and we did just that.
Yeah. And I think that, like, like, just to add to that too, when you're doing music, it's almost like getting a degree. It takes 4 or 5, 6 years of hard work before you start to like see any kind of benefits. So if you're impatient with it, if you're doing it just to make it, then you'll never make it because you have to be able to love what you do to get through those hard times and those hardships and to see even just to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Some people never see that light, but if you love it, then you're not wasting your time. And I think that one of the hardest things for us to do was um, to get to where we're at right now is trying to find our place in a society that was never built for us. That was never meant for us to succeed. It was never meant for us to thrive or even feel good about who we are, where we come from. So we had to pave our own lane. And I think that becoming Snotty Nose Rez Kids and creating Snotty Nose Rez Kids was a huge kind of like a healing tool and almost like a traverse tool for a lot of Native kids to be able to come from here to here, and just like how they look at themselves. And I think that all
Mm,
goes hand in hand with getting through the hardships and helping our people along the way with us.
mm. Was there ever a point where the negativity and doubt brought you to a crossroads where you were contemplating on, man, like, let's, I don't think this is possible, but you did decide to push forward,
Yeah,
obviously.
like we've had a lot of support, and I think that's one thing that, as far as like musicians goes, we had a lot of support from our community and the people that were in our lives and the circles that surrounded us. Really like held us up. So there was never a point for us where it was like, damn, I need to reconvene and kind of like reevaluate what I'm doing over here, because the people that were around me really told me that I got it. You know what I mean? So we were blessed in that sense, and I think it was a huge part of us and our growth as Snotty Nose Rez Kids was just the community that we were involved with.
Yeah, and it's crazy because coming from Kitimat, BC, I don't remember there being too many hero stories coming out of that community, but you guys have taken it to a level where the whole country has eyes on you guys. You know what I mean? And it's like such an inspiration to so many people of all diversities. I mean, your guys' sound is like super fresh, and you've been able to just really hone in on your craft in a way that people have no choice but to just
Yeah.
listen.
I mean, we've learned that pretty early on, like because we were very heavy into open mics when we first started. And at an open mic, you got like one shot, like 5 to 10 minutes to perform 1 to 2 songs, and you got to grab their attention. Somebody's going on, and people be like, "Oh yeah, whatever. I'm not gonna fucking whistle and just talk." So when you could get people to stop talking and like turn around and listen to you, like you can like command their attention. And as far as coming from Kitimat, like a small town, um, yeah, it's cool, man, to be where we are right now and to be the position that we're in, because that's all we ever wanted. It was never really about the money and fame. It's like, let's just make a difference for the next generation coming up. Like, let's be those guys that we wish we saw.
Just to add to that, like at the same time, we speak for a massive body of people that is all from Turtle Island. So even though we are from Kitimat, we're repping for everybody. So it was like it was kind of very easy for us to get recognition and just get our music passed along just through word of mouth in the beginning, just because of how many people could relate to our music, where they were never represented before. So I think that really helped in our growth, coming from like the background that we do come from.
Speaking of growth, when I first started to really pay attention to you guys was when you guys released the song Bougie Natives.
Yeah.
And that song catapulted the name SNRK to a new dimension in my mind. And it really shined a bright light on what it means to come from Indigenous heritage. Studies show that deep, detailed memories of meaningful creation stay with us for the rest of our lives. I'm wondering if it would be possible to take us on the journey of the moment by moment creation of that song.
Yeah. Um, it all started with a beat, right? And oh well, I wouldn't say that. Bougie Natives was always in our head from the moment we started writing Trapline, and maybe even before. We had a album that we were working on. It was kind of like a mixtape called Res Bangers and Cooler Pops, and the title Bougie Natives came into our heads, and we're just like, okay, this has possibly something that we could work with in the future. And then we were writing Trapline, and then I heard the beat from, was it Kato D that made that beat? It was from
Taylor
Gato.
King, I believe.
Was it Taylor King?
Yeah.
Okay, Taylor King. And I was just listening to Bougie Natives, and I was just sitting there in my place in northern BC, and I was there for the summer, and I was just sitting there by myself, literally like I'd spend like probably like 13 hours a day at my desk, just going through beats, trying to write, trying to get this album done. And this beat came on, and I was like, immediately, I had the hook written in like 10 minutes. It was like, we them bougie natives, got that turquoise on my rib. And at first, it was just me messing around, like just having fun. And I was like, you know what, we might have something here. But instead of like talking about bougie natives, like being like bougie, like, you know, like we fly first class, we have like $1 million mansions, we just live a luxurious lifestyle. It's not that. It's talking about finding wealth in community, finding wealth in traditional ways of living, healthy ways of living, finding wealth in family and community. And we just kind of flipped it on its head, and it kind of just took off for us. But yeah, I guess the process was the hook came, the beat came, the hook came, and then I sent it to D, and he said, "This is fire." We wrote our verses, and the rest was history.
Why do you think that resonated beyond the Indigenous communities?
I think mainly because people are interested in positivity coming out of reservations. Because for how many years before, like, you know, like um, there's been so many negative stereotypes like directed towards our people that come from people that have no idea about who we are or what we're really about. And I think at the time that Bougie Natives came out, there was a bit of a shift happening in, I guess, like Native activism. So, you know, I don't know, more movement happened, and people started paying more attention to not native issues, but native activity, and just seeing the movements that these people are starting, our people are starting. And you know, as Snotty Nose Rez Kids, we felt it was important for the movement to have a voice like ours. So we jumped in on that, and you know, we were doing a lot of frontline work. We were doing a lot of fundraising. All the shows that we did in the very beginning all went right to the front lines. We do clothing drives on the weekends, and I think it was just a refreshing, like a breath of fresh air for people looking in to the movements to see people like us, and um, using our platform for good. You know what I mean? And that goes to Bougie Natives as well. When you hear Bougie Natives, you can't help but smile.
Yung D, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, you know, we just wanted to make music for the people that inspired us. You know what I mean? With all like the land defenders, you know. So like when we first moved, or at least I first moved to the city, Trybez was already living there for a year and a half maybe before I got there. And when I got there, to me, it was like being introduced to a brand new world. You know what I mean? Like we're surrounded by a bunch of academics. You know what I mean? We're surrounded by a lot of land defenders, and like more often than not, like when a conversation will be happening, I'll just be sitting there quiet and just listening and just like absorbing and soaking up this information of a brand new world that I never knew of because I'm just coming from a small town. You know what I mean? So yeah, they definitely inspired us, and we just wanted to make music for them and make them proud. You know what I mean? By being ourselves.
In promoting your new single that came out today, um, had access to it. It's a banger, not only a banger but a headbanger. You know, it has that vibe to it. In promoting your single, your Facebook post reads, "No dogs allowed" is our anthem for anyone who felt like an outcast or an outsider. We see you, and you are one of us. We are Snotty Nose Rez Kids. Why was it important for you to make this song for the others?
Um, because we're one of them, you know, like I said earlier, we're just a couple of artists in a society that was never built for us, in an industry that was never made for us to succeed. And you know, we were also those kids too that were never invited to the parties, you know. But we always knew who we were, and we weren't going to change for anybody. And when we see people doing that, it reignites a spark within us, and it just re-inspires us every single time we see it. And in the native arts, in the arts community in general, there's so many boundaries being pushed, and there's so many doors being knocked down, just for us to be able to exist. And I think that No Dogs Allowed was just is a really important time for us to just put a track like that out and just let people know that you're not alone. Even though that you may feel that way at times, there's all of us just like that as well, and you just got to keep pushing through those doors, pushing through those boundaries, and making them feel uncomfortable. The gatekeepers feel uncomfortable because we're here. It's just like it's kind of our 2024 version of Lost Tribe, which is a single, or not a single, should have been a single off of our Trapline album. So it's kind of like the
Yeah.
same vibe, but just it's the same message, different vibe.
Have you noticed a change in the behaviors of people after going through several albums of these positive messages and sort of like putting it out there for kids that felt like you did or felt like anybody that wasn't invited to the party? Like,
Yeah.
what are some things that people say to you?
I mean, one of the biggest things for us, because we come from a community that there's like, like when you come from communities that have, like people from all different walks of life, there's going to be like some division. And one of the things that we experienced a lot was racism in our small town, that we wanted to change. We wanted people um, to understand, not understand us more, because like that was never our intention, was to make anyone understand us. Because if you don't want to understand, or if you don't want to learn, then there's no real point. I don't know. I guess what I'm trying to say is, we made music so that native kids like us could feel very comfortable in their own skin, and the people that were around them could look at them in a different light, because the stories that we're telling now is stories from ourselves, about from our own context, about our lives, instead of, say for an example, if you're in a racist family, your grandpa paints a picture of who I am, and all he knows is his racist ideals or ideologies about who I am, or conceptions. So it's just us being able to let the world know who we are and where we come from, and that we are great um, uh, individuals, I guess you could say. Like,
There's a few moments that stand out for me from like seeing like that change and that shift. Like when we dropped our first record, the self-titled Snotty Nose Rez Kids, we went back to like our old high school and did a show there, and you could kind of see like the division, and it was more about just not being familiar with one another. And so all the kids listening are just like, oh wow, like it's like a brand new world to them, like when we performed. And then I think we went back a year or two later. It might have been, I think it was when Trapline dropped. And those same kids that were confused a year or two back, they're fucking front row. You know what I mean? Like all walks of life. You know what I mean? Like doesn't matter if they were native or not. They were front row screaming our lyrics word for word. And then we had one of the teachers pull us aside after the show. Is like, after your guys' first performance, that was like when the change started happening, and like now you see people getting along more. You know what I mean? Like natives and non-natives. You know what I mean? And like that was like such a huge compliment to us, because like that's the kind of thing that money can't buy. You know what I mean? Like regardless of the awards like we may win, like that is something you truly cannot buy. Like that's just incredible. And yeah, it's moments like that that's like, okay, we're doing something right. Like we're doing it right. It's not, it's bigger than us. It started out with just the two of us, but like now it's just way bigger than us, and we don't take that responsibility lightly.
Yeah, I'm really super thankful that you guys are doing your thing, because it's just gonna make so much more impact in the future. And your new album's titled Red Future, and I think I just have this feeling that you guys are going to make such a huge impact in the years to come with your music. I'm just getting prompted right now that we need to wrap up. So I'm wondering if we could just quickly go through the rapid fire round before we wrap up, and then you guys can drop a plug for whatever you guys got going on. So first question: what DAW do you use and why?
Um, for the last like 2 years, I've been using Fruity Loops because I do make beats as well, and yeah, it's just easy for me to function.
I used to be I used to be on Pro Tools, and then I lost my little thing. So now I'm on Logic, and the reason why is because it's easy to learn, and you can just get it through Apple, and it just connects to everything.
Okay, dope. Favorite plugins?
Uh, Beat wise, probably Reverb.
What is a sound that always brings you joy?
Uh, 808s, heavy, heavy, heavy 808s.
What is your reaction or facial expression when you know you made some heat?
Oh shit! Let's go! Let's go!
That's so good. When do you feel happy 100% with a song you made?
When I can listen to it on repeat.
I Yeah, I think just yeah, when you know it's a banger. I don't know, it's you when you know you know.
What do you understand now about the music business that you didn't understand when you first started?
How important paperwork is.
How important what?
Paperwork is.
Oh yeah, um, I think that hard work and trust in your team is really important.
If AI technology was somehow able to take over our jobs as creators, what new career path would you choose?
I guess we'll cross that bridge if we get to
I, I,
it.
Uh, I'd be like the Terminator trying to take it down.
Nice. Thank you guys so much for your time. It's been an honor and a pleasure to sit with you guys. Last question is, what's next for Snotty Nose Rez Kids? Anything you want to promote to the Sonically community?
Yes. Snotty Nose Rez Kids tour coming August until late December. Red Future is dropping September 13th. September 13th. And I'm making a new fashion line called Savage Kids. Been busting my ass off for a couple years in that. That's coming soon. Just stay tuned. Oh, and the TV show.
2025 is going to be damn right our biggest year yet. So coming to a city near you.
We're definitely looking forward to it. Guys, once again, thanks for showing so much love. Thanks for dropping some gems, dropping some knowledge to the next generation of creators. We'll be praying for you guys on your tour, your new album, all the awesome stuff that you guys got going
Oh yeah.
on. And yeah, hope to see you around the city.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Thank
Yeah.
you.
We'll talk to you soon.
Switchman. Okay.
Hell
Peace out,
yeah.
guys.
Yeah. Later.